Got a great question today from a viewer. It was a question on the early retirement with $500,000 in a retirement account series. And the question was basically, well, if people really shouldn't fully retire with 500,000 in a retirement account at age 55, early retirement, what about 1 million? What if someone has 1 million in retirement or investment accounts at age 55? Can they retire then? Well, maybe. There's a bunch of factors that go into retirement. Retirement numbers may work for one individual and the same exact numbers may completely fall apart for another individual. And it has a lot to do with lifestyle and lifestyle expectations before retirement and in retirement. Some people can really bring down their lifestyle expectations and live with the bare essentials. Other people really can't. And when I see someone who is a high income earner, they're earning maybe 200,000 as an individual each year, I know retirement's going to be really, really difficult because they're accustomed to living with a very good six-figure salary, and they're going to have to make a massive change in their lifestyle expectations in retirement, and many people just can't do that. So first thing, when the person asked me the question, is $1 million at age 55 enough to retire? The first thing I thought is, if someone has $1 million in investments by age 55, they're likely a high income earner. They're likely a high income earner. And if they are a high income earner, they likely have high, basically, life expectations. My first question would be, is this person willing to adjust their lifestyle expectations and bring them back in alignment with reality? Or they're one of those individuals, and this is most individuals, who have to live on at least $150,000 a year in retirement. And in that case, you're going to keep working. There are a few cases where I see people who are not high income earners who have $1 million plus by age 55. It's usually a set of circumstances. It could be the person's a high income earner. I've already talked through that. But I do have clients who are super savers. Maybe they're not high income earners, but they keep their expenses very low, and they've been going at it for 20 or 30 years, and they've hit the 1 million mark by age 55. It's maybe 5% of people I see who can really do that. Being a super saver, being an adherent of the FIRE movement is not easy. It definitely has its challenges, but some people are able to save the amount of 1 million in a retirement account or various investment accounts by age 55 because they are super savers. Next, equity holders. Someone works for a company that rewards them with equity and the company does particularly well. Or the person owns a small company and has had an equity event where they are able to tap some of that equity and invest it in other resources. Once again, here in California, I actually see it relatively a lot because I have a lot of clients who are compensated through restricted stock units, ISOs, NISOs, and other ways. And those can be big financial events for them, like one of the biggest financial events in their working career, where all of a sudden they have several $1 million and they need to figure out what to do with it. Unless you are working in an industry where you are compensated through equity or you are a business owner, equity holdings is probably not going to be a pathway that you can take to having 1 million in investment accounts by age 55. The fourth way I see people who have $1 million in various investment accounts by age 55 are inheritors. People who inherited money through misfortune, a parent, a sibling, a partner, someone died and left them a large sum of money, and combined with their own savings and their own hard work and the money that they inherited, they now have 1 million in investment accounts. I actually want to go through the numbers to show you what $1 million at age 55 with retirement looks like. It can work depending on who you are and where you are. I'm also going to answer the question, like, if let's say you don't have a rich uncle or you don't expect to be an equity holder in a successful business, or you're not a super saver, what would you have to do if you were young, starting in your 20s, to get to $1 million in investments by age 55? So stay with me. Okay, So, a few disclosures before I get started. I am a certified financial planner and a certified private wealth advisor, but this is not to be interpreted as financial advice. If you want to have a look at your own financial numbers, set up an appointment with a certified financial planner and go over that information with someone who can really look at the facts of your case and give you more accurate numbers. I'm not using the software I usually use to plan for retirement. That is proprietary software, and people seem to like the kind of Excel format a lot better than the oftentimes confusing software that financial advisors use to project out people's retirement. So this individual, we are setting a scenario. We're going back to the spreadsheet, and this individual wants to retire with $1 million in various retirement accounts. For the sake of this, making it simple, I'm going to pretend like it's all in a taxable IRA account. We're giving an inflation rate of 3%. And once again, I'm pretty much adamant that all my retirement planning happens at 3% inflation. 15% taxes. I haven't done anything with state taxes, so I'm going easy on this individual. And we're also assuming that this person receives $3,700 in Social Security benefits at age 67. Now, if the person is receiving $3,700 in Social Security benefits at age 67, that means that they were a high income earner for their working career. If you, like I said, if you have 1 million in a retirement account by age 55, 90% of the time you got there by being a high income earner and just really packing it away. But let's see what this actually looks like, and can this actually work versus the 500,000 in retirement accounts that we used before. Okay, so another thing that I wanted to bring up is that they are taking out an average draw of about 4,800, which turns out to about $4,100 after tax. It would not be doable here in San Francisco or in a high cost of living area, but in many parts of the U.S., this could provide a standard of living. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at this. So let's say this person, 2003, the market returned on a 60/40 portfolio about 19%. That's the equivalent of about $57,800 that they had to take out in order to get that monthly spend amount when you take into account inflation. So after all of that, after all the growth and inflation and taking out the annual draw amount, this person has 1.1 million. So far, so good. Let's go to 2004, where the market returned about 8.3%. They have to up their withdrawal amount to about 59,500 to account for 3% inflation. Their overall balance is still looking pretty good. It's 1.15 million. Okay, the true tests, let's get here to 2008, 2009. So, of course, 2008, 2009 was an absolute trash year in market, and it really did a lot of people's retirement portfolios in. It's a stress test year, stress test moment of most people's retirement where market is down 20%. This person still needs to take out $67,000 and they're only age 60 from their portfolio. So at the end of 2008, the person would have about 900,000 in their retirement account. Perhaps here they would start getting a little bit antsy because this is the first time in 6 years they've seen a substantial drop in their retirement account balance. We would probably set up a meeting. They would probably come into my office and ask me what's happening. I tell them it's not an issue with the portfolio. It's a structural issue with the market. We're going to hold the position, maybe make a few tweaks, and we're going to move forward. What I would also be doing in a year like 2008 is looking for places that we can take money from the portfolio for the $67,000 that would have the least impact on the portfolio. Maybe I wouldn't touch equities. I would use whatever cash is sitting there. And maybe I would use the bond portfolio before I went to the stock portfolio, because I know when the market comes back, it's going to come back on the equity side. And I don't want to strip out the equities while equities are down. So there is some feng shuiing that a good financial advisor can do with you to lessen the impact of a 2008. So 2009, the market comes back 18%, you need $69,000 from this portfolio at 3% inflation. You're almost at the 1 million mark again. So this is a good sign. This is a good sign. Depending on how nervy the client is, the client may be really worried or not that worried, or the client may be looking for a job to bring in extra income at this point. The problem with looking for a job in a market like this is in 2008, no one was really hiring. No one was really putting out job postings. If you are 60 and going back into the job market, finding a job that paid enough for you to really be worth your while was really a bit of a stretch. So this person may not be worried, but this person may be very worried. And if this person's very worried, they're probably looking at either reducing their spending or getting a job, which is just really tough in a down market. But good thing is that the market quickly recovered. 18% in 2009, 11, 12% in 2010. This person is doing pretty well. Now let's take a look actually at age 67 when this person starts taking Social Security. So let's highlight this in green. Okay, so the person starts drawing their Social Security at age 67. In order to have the same purchasing power that this person had 12 years ago, instead of taking out about $57,000, now this person has to take out $82,000 each year. This is the impact of inflation on retirement. And we often don't talk about inflation very much as financial advisors, but it could be the death knell to a good retirement plan. Many retirement advisors plan at 2% inflation, some at 2.5%. I always plan at 3. I'm going to make it tough. We just recently came out of a round of inflation. Recent inflation numbers were released just today for the month of September, and it came in at 2.4%, which is really good. They're trying to get it to 2% and keep it there. Inflation is a big factor in retirement, and it stops a lot of people from retiring early. 2%, people can make retirement do. 3%, it gets tougher, but a lot of people can make it. 4% is where things really start falling apart. Probably 70% of retirement plans fail. And by the time you get to 5% inflation, nobody makes it. Even millionaires can't make it with 5% inflation. So it's a very important number for retirees. I use 3%. Some retirement planners use 2 or 2.5. It's a question to ask if you're working with someone, what percentage of inflation do they use in their projections to give you an accurate depiction of what this is going to look like 12, 15, 20 years in, because oftentimes retirement plans don't fail in the first few years. It's often retirement plans fail far in. Your retirement advisor may be retired by the time your retirement plan fails. And so you need to kind of have a crystal ball and look into the future to say, okay, things feel fine now. They're not going to be fine in the future. And this is where we're estimating that things are going to get tight. So 67, the person starts taking their 3,700 retirement in addition to the funds that they are withdrawing from their retirement account. And the important thing in having 1 million, you don't have to basically dial down the amount that you're taking out of your retirement account. When you only had 500,000, it was really important at this juncture at age 67, when you start receiving that $3,700 a month from Social Security, that you reduce the amount that you were taking from your portfolio in order to reduce the stress on the portfolio. You really don't have to do that here. You can keep taking out the same amount and get the money from the government. So you're in good shape. So we go forward here. We have a couple of more trash market events. 2022, which was a trash market. The market was down 16% on a 60-40 portfolio. 2023, it was up almost 11%. Your portfolio withstands that. And once again, in 2050, when you're 81, 82, I basically repeated the returns for 20 years. So this is essentially 2008 happening all over again. And boom, yeah, it really kicks your portfolio in the shin, but in the next year, it comes back. Essentially, in looking at the numbers, if you live until age 90, you'll die and your last check will bounce. This is cutting it close though. What if you live beyond 90? What if you have a long-term care event? What if you have some really bad financial misfortunes earlier in your life and you need to take larger than projected withdrawals in these earlier years? Then you're going to run out of money before age 90. And in this projection, what I'm showing you in taking out a certain amount of money each and every year, this is just not how retirement really happens. Emergencies happen, cars break down, roofs leak, dental surgery needs to be had, repairs need to be done on home. And if your retirement account, this $1 million is your only source of money and you're not working, the money to do those repairs is going to come out of these accounts, the retirement account. And you're not going to notice it immediately. Like I said, you're going to notice it in the later years. So I'm much more confident about this person's ability to retire early at age 55 with 1 million across various investment accounts. Is it a perfect plan? No, it's not a perfect plan. Could it fail? Yes, definitely. And the problem with 1 million in various investment accounts, if it fails, it's going to fail down here. It's going to fail when you're 80. You're not going to be able to go out and get a second job at 80. You're not going to have another source of income at 80. You're just stuck with Social Security at that point, which is a pretty grim prospect. So I know $1 million sounds like a lot of money, but you're thinking in terms of baby boomer dollars. When you think about Gen X, millennials, and Gen Zers, $1 million will almost certainly not be sufficient for retirement. And my next step is to show you how much at age 20 or starting in your 20s would you have to save to get to $1 million by age 55? Let's take a look at that next. So, can someone retire with $1 million at age 55? It's possible, but it's not probable. And once again, I would encourage you to really work with a certified financial planner or retirement expert to really flesh out the numbers, because it's dependent on a lot of factors, and where you're living and how you want to live plays a big role in that. But for a lot of people, if you have $1 million in an investment account by the time you're age 55, you're going to be a high income earner. And if you're a high income earner, you're going to have high lifestyle expectations that you can't peel back. And if you have high lifestyle expectations that you can't peel back, you're going to have to work a lot longer. So there you have it. Tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like. And if you have any comments, leave it in the comment section. Thank you.